This is an absolute heist for the Boston Celtics, as over the last several weeks, they have been a team who has been listed as serious buyers in this trade market. And all throughout this trade season, there have been many big names that have been listed to the Boston Celtics, as the common denominator is that they're looking for an improvement to their center rotation. Now, obviously, we have some guys that do a very good job, but you could argue that we could definitely use an upgrade, and there have been many names linked to the Boston Celtics like Ivica Zubac, as well as Daniel Gafford of the Dallas Mavericks, or even Jaren Jackson Jr. of the Memphis Grizzlies. And we've talked about those players heavily on this channel, why it would work, why it wouldn't work, but today we did get some information that shows that there's another suitor for the Boston Celtics, and this one actually makes sense. The money makes sense, the fit makes sense, the play style makes sense, and all it takes is the Boston Celtics to make a move and get things going. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the player that is linked to the Boston Celtics. What are the odds of us actually getting him? Should we actually go out and get him? And what should the trade package look like? But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Celtics Digest, bringing the latest news on everything Celtics related. And before we get started with the news today, this video is brought to you by Kalshi. And if you download it using the link below and enter code DIGESTNBA, you'll get $20 when you trade your first 100. Kalshi is the largest prediction market in the US, and on their platform, you could trade yes or no on real-life events, sports, elections, news, pretty much everything. And whether you're in California, Texas, or anywhere else across the country, Kalshi is live in all 50 states. For sports fans, you can trade on game outcomes, playoff chances, or player performances, all on a regulated market where you can cash out anytime. Who will be the Eastern Conference champs? Detroit, New York, Cleveland, Boston? Place your predictions and cash out big with Kalshi, and don't forget to use code DIGESTNBA for an extra $20 when you trade your first 100. Thank you, Kalshi, for sponsoring this video. But the Boston Celtics are a team that is doing very, very well right now. We're the second team in the East. The only team above us is the Pistons, and I can make the argument that we have the right experience. We have the playoff experience and the talent behind us that even if the Detroit Pistons are ahead of us and we somehow see them in the playoffs, I have no worry that the Celtics would take care of business and make their way to the finals. But I think a smart assertion of the situation would be that the Boston Celtics need to prepare for the finals, not so much the playoffs. They can make it into the deep playoffs. They can make a run, but when they get to the finals, the teams on the West who they may see, they could definitely use an improvement on their roster. And we've seen the reports all this month, even back in December, of many big names that are linked to the Boston Celtics that they could potentially go after. And just to rehash some of that, the first one that we did see was Jaren Jackson Jr. of the Memphis Grizzlies. And the Dunk Central had tweeted out saying that the Detroit Pistons and Boston Celtics are showing interest in Jaren Jackson Jr. Amid Ja Morant trade talks, Jaren Jackson Jr. remains a player the Memphis Grizzlies want to build with, according to an ESPN report. However, that stance hasn't stopped various teams across the league from registering interest in Jaren Jackson Jr., including the Detroit Pistons and Boston Celtics, league sources told Hoops Hype. Now, we talked about Jaren Jackson Jr. on this channel, why it wouldn't work, why it could work. The play style, I'm not too upset by it, but it's that $50 million contract, that $50 million per year. That puts him right up there with Tatum and Brown. You'd have to gut the team, get rid of some guys that people really like Hugo, and I don't want to see Hugo go, and I know you guys don't want to see him go either. So going after someone like Jaren Jackson Jr. would be nice if it was on a more team-friendly contract. But there's another player that has been linked to the Boston Celtics, and that has been Ivica Zubac. In the report saying that the Celtics and Pacers have shown interest in Ivica Zubac. Among the notable teams to express interest in trading for Zubac were the Indiana Pacers and Boston Celtics. Hoops Hype has learned, dating back from last season through Monday, Zubac is having the best stretch of his career, averaging 16.3 points on 62.2% shooting from the field, 12.2 rebounds, and 1.1 blocks. And just the other day, we talked about Zubac and how he could fit on this Boston Celtics team, that it's a team-friendly contract. He's only earning about $18 million a year starting next year, so why not go for it? It wouldn't cost us too much. However, we then learned it would cost us too much, as apparently the Los Angeles Clippers are looking for at least 2 first-round picks for Zubac. I like Zubac. I think he'd fit in the system very well. I think he's exactly what we need to contend against any team that comes out the West. However, that is a little bit of an overpay. The Los Angeles Clippers have their own issues that they have to deal with, and if they think that they're going to get 2 first-round picks for Zubac, I think that's a little bit too rich for my blood. So where should the Boston Celtics look? Who should the Boston Celtics target in this trade market to try to fix them, try to make them somewhat better without giving up too much? Well, the New Orleans Pelicans could be a little helpful suitor in this market, as the other day a report came out showing that the New Orleans Pelicans have listed Yves Missi as available in trades, and luck would have it is that the Boston Celtics themselves have inquired about Pelican center Yves Missi. Missi has fallen in New Orleans rotation with the emergence of Derrick White, but he earned all-rookie second-team honors last season. Now, if you've been watching basketball, if you know about the New Orleans Pelicans, they're a little bit of a mess of an organization. Yes, they do have Derrick White, who's been playing very well his rookie year. I am a fan of him. He plays kind of like Jokic. They obviously still have other big men. They've got other players there as well. However, if Yves Missi is falling out of favor in the rotation, if he's not really a player that they seem long-term, why not take a flyer on him? If he's on his second year, okay, that's totally fine. You're a young guy, so you fit the timeline of this team. You're actually a pretty good backup. You're not going to be too expensive for us. It would be an easy one-for-one trade. So why don't the Celtics go out there, try to get a young guy who obviously still has value that could help us out, even in a small role off the bench, and to help the other centers in our rotation? It's just a win-more move that really wouldn't cost us much. And if we take a look at Yves Missi and how he's been playing this season, he's averaging 5.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, 1.2 assists, shooting 54% from the floor, 0% from 3, and 59.2% from the free throw line with 0.3 steals, 1.3 blocks, 0.8 turnovers, and 1.7 fouls per game. I am a fan of Yves Missi on the Celtics team. He'd be in the center rotation, maybe not a starter, maybe not yet, but I think he does have the skills and the potential to be a starting center in this NBA, or maybe the best backup center ever. But this right here is an amazing stat line for a backup big, especially in his second season. 5 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 54% from the field, 1.3 blocks, and only 18 minutes a game. You're fitting him right in as a backup center while getting pretty good production. And it's a very low-cost move. I mean, it wouldn't cost us anything at all. He's only making about $3.3 million a year. We got a couple centers that are on some very team-friendly deals as well that you could easily swap with. And one player that I would suggest to trade for Yves Missi is Xavier Tillman. And I know he's got some fans in the comment section. I know you're not going to like to hear me say that, but just check out this trade package that I thought up of. It's super simple. Throw in picks if they're needed. I don't think any picks, maybe a second-round pick to the Pelicans just to spice it up. But you trade away Xavier Tillman and you get back Yves Missi. Yves Missi is a true center, as Xavier Tillman was a smaller-sized big man. He's younger than Tillman. He's bigger than Tillman. He can score more and rebound more than Tillman. I truly do think this is a no-brainer move. But like I said, I know that there's players that are high on Xavier that would rather keep him on this team. I know the chemistry is very important, but this does make us better. I also understand the argument that the Boston Celtics could do nothing. The Celtics could make no move and we could still make a deep playoff run, still make it to the finals this year. And I agree. I definitely agree. But if you make this move, if you trade away Xavier Tillman for Yves Missi, you get a younger guy that helps your younger players for the future. You can compete now with Yves Missi and you can compete later with Yves Missi. The timeline resets, but it helps you now and later. And you're also getting more production. I think Xavier Tillman is a great backup big. I would argue that Yves Missi is an even better backup big. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think that this is a good move for the Boston Celtics? It's a very small move with very high returns. I would love to hear your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. And as always, y'all take care, drink water. Peace.